everyone, it's Julia. Welcome back to my channel. If you are a subscriber and if you are new here, nice to meet you. I make videos about travel, adventure, planning, hiking, packing, and living a good story. If you are into that, I hope you will hit the subscribe button right here, and I will see you in a future video. Today's video is my third in my Camino planning series, and we are going to be talking about gear regrets and rejoices. I took a lot of questions on my Instagram, and a lot of you really wanted to know what gear I regretted bringing and what gear I was happy I brought. Just kind of a review on everything I packed. Because before I left, I did post a video of everything I planned on taking, so this will be sort of a reaction review to my gear. How did it go? Did I like what I brought? Did I hate it? Let's get into it. The first thing that I brought that I really didn't need or use or want was a headlamp. I'm actually using it right now to light my face. Does it look good? But on the Camino, I did not need it ever or want it. So when my friend came to visit and then she left, I actually sent it home with her. I also sent her home with my green bucket hat. I know what you're thinking, you didn't want your bucket hat? I know, guys, but I don't wear a lot of hats when I'm hiking, and I also bought another bucket hat while I was out there, and it was bigger and a bigger brim. The one I had was kind of for children, so it was too small. So I sent that home with her, and I also sent home this little reusable cup that my dad gave me. I don't think that was in my packing video because he gave it to me last minute. I thought I might need it. I did not ever need a cup. There were cups everywhere I went. Did not need a cup. So I sent that home with Lindy Joe as well. The thing that I regret bringing the most, absolute most, was this shirt that I brought. It's blue, I really like it. I still wear it to this day, it's a great shirt. But it had long armpit holes, and so my arm had like skin on skin action, and after a week I started turning red, and I got horrible chafing in my armpits, and I learned that not having deodorant on can contribute to chafing and also stubble. So after I've been wearing this shirt for a couple days, I think there was one day where I didn't wear deodorant, and I think I also hadn't shaved my armpits, and it was like the perfect storm, and I got really bad, like really bad armpits, and I had to go to the doctor and get this cream, and it fixed it immediately, but it was really like a horrible experience. I couldn't shave for a couple days because I had like scabs in my armpits. So I really regretted that shirt. I still would wear it to sleep in, but it was a horrible shirt for walking, and I've really never hiked in it ever since, and I would never do that again. So regret bringing a shirt that had my armpits touching. The next thing I really regretted bringing was this soap that I brought. If you remember in my packing video, it was this little yellow soap. It was a shampoo bar actually, and you could use it as a body wash. And I thought that would be better to have a little shampoo bar, which it's still a great idea, but the one that I got was just so cheap and bad. It made my skin so dry. I had like patches of dry skin on my face. The first week I was physically a mess. Like, they say the first part of the Camino is about your like physical journey, and then the next part is about like your mind, and the next part is about your spirit or something about that. So that was really true for me. Like the whole first part was about my body. Like my knee hurt, I had burns in my armpit, I was getting sick, I had like rashes on my face. It was crazy. I also had bug bites everywhere, I had bed bug bites. Do you want to go on the Camino now? I mean, making it sound fun. So I threw away that soap, and I got myself just like a bar of Dove, which is what I use at home. I think it's best that I use what my skin is used to. It's moisturizing, and I was happy with that. I also got myself a regular bottle of shampoo, just like a little one that would fit in my bag but wouldn't be too heavy. And I think I shared it with Kayla. So I regretted having the shampoo bar body wash situation. The next thing is the amount of Advil that I brought. It is a joke at this point. I think I bought Advil like 2 additional times. And by Advil I mean ibuprofen. I needed like triple the amount of ibuprofen. So, and there were some days where the pharmacies wouldn't open on Sunday, and I was in so much pain because I had ran out. So, because I had knee issues. So I needed like triple, maybe quadruple the amount of ibuprofen. The next thing I regret was my sports bras. I had gotten cheap ones at Marshall's, and I really regretted that. Now when I go hiking, I use this like nicer REI sports bra. It's not even that nice. I think it was like $35, and it's so much more enjoyable to wear. The ones from Marshall's were just cheap, and they just made me hot and gross, and so I think getting a nicer sports bra is probably worth it, especially if you have more to support. And then the last thing is my water bottle. I loved my water bottle. It was the platypus pouch. It was 1 liter, which was the perfect amount of water. I loved that it was weightless when there wasn't water in it, but it went on the side, and I think this is really just a tip to myself. I should have put it in the back so it was evenly on my body instead of having it on the side. That's not really a packing regret, just more of like a note to self, like don't ever do that again, because it had extra weight on the side and it would like cause pain. So I think it would have had more even of an experience having the water in the back. And that goes for all packing, like try and make your weight as evenly distributed as possible. That's pretty much everything I took that I regret. And here are the things that I took that I loved. My backpack was the best. I love my backpack. It is the Kelty Red Wing Women's 40 liter, and it is the best backpack for the Camino because it is a really nice size, nice and small, but fits a lot. And it's kind of a hybrid between a hiking bag and a sort of travel bag because it has lots of other zippers and compartments that you don't normally see in a hiking bag. And so it was a nice hybrid. It had like, I could like easy access stuff, but I could also like shove and pack things like normal hiking. So I loved that bag and I still love it and I can't recommend it enough. It's a really good price and I'll link you down below. I also loved my shoes. I took a pair of Merrell's and I've since bought another pair of them, the exact same ones but a different color. I'll link them down below. But the thing about shoes is they're so personal. I tried on like 4 or 5 different pairs from REI because REI is a year, you have an entire year to return things and it's no questions asked. You can use stuff and return it if you don't like it. So I would buy shoes and then walk around in them and like hike in them and then realize my feet hurt. I kept feeling like a burning sensation with most of my shoes, and so I would return them until I finally found shoes that did make my feet feel like they were burning. And I have to say, on the Camino, I didn't get a single blister, like literally not one. And I have gotten blisters before, so it's not like I'm genetically predisposed to not have blisters. I am capable of getting them. I just think the secret to not getting blisters is to break your shoes in, practice wearing the shoes, see if you actually like them, and if you don't, return them. And then also get wider shoes, or not necessarily wider, but shoes that aren't that tight, because if your foot is tight before you even start walking, it is gonna be really bad at the end of the day because your foot actually swells when you're hiking. And so if it's gonna swell up and it's already a tight fit, you're gonna be really uncomfortable and that's when you're gonna get blisters and a lot of foot pain. So if you want a kind of like roomy-er shoe that allows space for the swelling, and that's what my shoes did for me. So again, shoes are really personal. I'm not gonna tell you what kind to get other than those tips that I just gave you. But I will tell you, you should probably get a trail runner. I wouldn't recommend boots. Literally everyone I've ever met that's been on the Camino says don't wear boots. They're just like heavier and again, blisters. I think you will be much happier in just like a lightweight trail runner. That's what I would go for. The next thing I loved was my socks. I took Smart Wool like 3/4 length socks, I think, and they matched my shoes, which I'm not gonna lie and say I didn't do that on purpose. So I felt really cute and I love those socks. I still love those socks. I've recently purchased more Smart Wool socks because I think they are chef's kiss, the best socks. I took 2 pairs and that was perfect. The next thing I brought was my poncho. Ponchos are really big on the Camino. Everyone pretty much has them. And I got one that had a bill. So the one I had was really cool because it had extra room in the back so it could cover the backpack. I never had a wet pack. It also had a bill in the front to keep rain off my face. It also like had extra zipper here and like strings here, so I never really had rain getting in my clothes. So I really never got wet other than like the bottom of my pants where my poncho couldn't cover. So I was really pleased with the poncho and I would recommend that you bring one. One thing though, back to regrets. We're supposed to be on things I love right now, but I'm gonna jump back to regrets. I think I would have also brought a backpack cover, a rain cover. The thing about the poncho is you have to be wearing the bag at all times or it's gonna get wet. So if I ever wanted to take the bag off or just sit down, I had to like keep wearing the bag or it would get wet. So if I had a rain cover, I could set the bag down and also wear the poncho. So that would have been nice. One other downside to a poncho is when you're not walking and it's still raining and you want to go to dinner, you have to wear your poncho and not a raincoat, and that's a little bit like dorky, but that's it. The next thing I brought that I was happy I brought was my sleeping bag. I have a love-hate relationship with my sleeping bag. It just annoys me. I don't like packing it, like I get really hot, and so I didn't think I was gonna bring one, but I went in October and November, the end of the season, and it was cold, and I used it every night. A lot of the places don't have sheets, or they have like plastic sheets and no blankets, and so you definitely need a sleeping bag. And then there are places that have blankets, but I still would use my sleeping bag as like a layer between me and this questionable blanket that they probably didn't wash. So I use the sleeping bag pretty much every night, and if you're going anytime other than the summer, I would bring one. And if you are going in the summer but you get cold, I would bring one. The next thing I brought that I loved was my water bottle hose. My dad gave this to me super last minute, and it was the best. It was a hose that screwed onto my platypus, and it allowed me to drink water while I was walking instead of just like pulling out the water all the time. And that was the best. I loved having that. I would recommend. Absolutely, it's the best. I also brought a Fanny Pack. The reason I brought this, you don't necessarily need this, but I brought it because I'm a vlogger and I needed a place to put my camera, and I wanted to be able to pull it out all the time. So I wore the Fanny Pack on my chest, kind of sideways, and now when I wear it around my waist like a normal person, but I don't know, I go through phases where I like it here, and I also put my phone there and my headphones. And I think I put money there too, so I was able to like easy access, pay for things, film something, look up maps on my phone. I could like everything I wanted like really quickly, I could pull out, and so I loved having that. And then when we weren't hiking, I used it as like a little purse. So I loved that. Another thing I was nervous to bring, but I decided to, was I brought a long sweater, and I wore it pretty much every night. And it was kind of a bulkier cardigan, and I was nervous to bring it, but I thought, you know, in my regular life, I wear this sweater every day, and I think I'm gonna get cold at night, and I think I'm gonna want this, and so I brought it, and I wore it, I'm not kidding, every night. And it made me happy every night, and I never once regretted having that. I loved my little vlog camera. I bought a Canon G7x. And again, it fit in my little fanny pack. It was perfect. At one point I did drop it and break it, and I had to use Amazon in Spanish to buy another one, which was really impressive. But other than that, that was a perfect little camera. If you're interested in vlogging in the Camino, it is perfect. One thing I brought that I loved, but I lost on like the second day, was my reusable earplugs. There's so much snoring on the Camino. It is really like, it's horrible, but it's unavoidable really, no matter where you are, unless you're in your own room. Even then, you might hear the neighbor. And I had these little what are they called? I had these little earplugs that were reusable, so I could just like wipe them off and wear them the next night. And they were perfect. I loved them. And then I lost them on day 3, and I missed them every day after that. So if I'm gonna go again on the Camino, I'm getting another pair. Ooh, something great that I brought little nail clippers, and that's great because it's really important to keep your toenails short, because if the nails get too long, they hit against your shoe, and then it actually like really hurts while you're walking. So I think I cut my toenails like probably 2 or 3 times while we're out there, and so that was great. And you know, cut my fingernails too. Less important, but I had the opportunity to stay clean. So I really liked having that. Another thing I really loved was my camp shoes or nighttime shoes. They were these cheap $15 sandals, and they were kind of like croc material, but they looked like Birkenstocks. We called them Firkin Crocs because they were fake Birkenstock Crocs, you know? And I really didn't think they were gonna make it through the trip because they were so cheap, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna be walking around on cobblestone streets at night and these are gonna break. And it is a year later, and they are still the most fabulous sandals. There is nothing wrong with them. I have worn them all over Spain. I've worn them all over the place. I take them when I go hiking now. They're fabulous. I'll try and link them down below if I can find them. Another weird thing that I brought was a scarf. I decided that the scarf was gonna be my towel, because instead of bringing a camping towel or just winging it, I was gonna use that to get dry. And then I also used it sometimes, like if I needed a barrier between my head and the pillow. And sometimes I actually just wore it as a scarf. And this was great. This really worked out for me. It dried my hair and body really easily, and then also it dried really fast. I could just hang it up and it would be dry in like an hour. And of course I could also wear it and like look cute. It was great. I really recommend using a scarf as a towel. Okay, and that is a review of everything I brought on the Camino, the things I wished I hadn't brought, my big mistakes, and the things that I loved and was glad that I had. I hope that information was helpful to you. If you have any questions or comments, obviously leave them down below. I pretty much respond to all of my comments. If you also want to DM me on Instagram, you can feel free. My handle is JuliaMarie_Rob. I will link that down below. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please leave a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And I will see you next time. Bye. Today and not tomorrow.